I'm now with Mark Fishpool on the barn stand here at the Classic Restoration Show at the NEC. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
And could you just give me a brief description of some of the... Well, let's start with this one. This was the one that was on the website. Can you give me a brief history of where you found it? And
It's an Austin A35 1956, which is a deluxe version, which came with opening rear windows and a few other little features. I found it in a garden in Leicestershire, and it had been covered up for about 20 years. The owner had very good intentions to restore it, but due to other work commitments it never got done, and it was rescued about 2 months ago, and I plan to restore it to fully working condition.
have you got a time scale for it?
I will be working on it full time, so I presume a couple of months, and it should be back on the road.
As quickly as that?
Yeah, well, I put a lot of hours into my days.
But it's not just this one you've got a number of barn finds here, haven't you, today?
I have. I've got a 1953 Austin Devon, which was a bread van.
Which one is that one? The far one, yeah.
A grey Austin Devon, 1953. That had one owner until 1961, and then it was placed in a barn, and the family didn't throw anything out, and they kept it for decades, and I found it in February of this year, 2017, and the plan is to fully restore it and return it, sign written, as a period bread van from the 1950s. I also have on display a 1935 Lanchester LA10 Woody. This was purchased by a country estate in Gloucestershire in 1935, and it was rebodied in ash timber as a shooting brake that they could use on the country estate for farm shoots. The gamekeeper could use it when he was hunting rabbits and pheasants, and because it was kept on a country estate, they had some nice indoor storage facilities, so it was always kept under cover. And the car is 81 years old, and it's totally original. It's had some mechanical refurbishment over the last few years to keep it roadworthy, but I was told it's the only one in the world because of its unique wooden body. The next car we have is a 1935 BSA 10 saloon. Now, when I found this in a barn, it was just not economical to try to restore it back to its original condition. So I decided to leave it shabby chic looking, but put a modern engine in it and a gearbox and make it roadworthy. And I decided to restore it on a budget and see how cheaply I could put this little car back on the road. And purchasing the car and all the parts required to refurbish it came in just under £1,000, which I'm very pleased with. Sitting next to the BSA, we have an iconic sports car from the 1950s, an MGA Roadster, which are very popular now, and a lot of these were sold in America, and over the last 20 years companies have specialised in bringing them back from America and restoring them in England and then selling them to the British public. But this is a genuine right-hand drive British registered car, and it's one of the last that they built in 1962. I've got the full history of the car from the first day it was registered, and it was found in a garden in Harrow in North London, and it had sat under temporary covers for about 25 years, and the owner passed away a year ago, and the family were at the property clearing all the old junk away, and they found the car, and I purchased it from them, and my intention is to fully restore it to its pristine factory condition, and bring new life back into it.
So you do all these cars on your own, or do you have a team?
No, I restore all these cars on my own. I've got some friends in the classic car scene who I call upon now and again to help me with some of the bigger jobs if I need them for a day or two. But it's a passion of mine. I live and breathe classic cars. I love to find them, and I love to restore them, and I love to put them back on the road. And some of them I sell to finance other projects that come along. But the biggest thrill is getting a phone call and going out the next day and visiting a garage or a barn and finding some little treasure that's been tucked away for 20 or 30 years.
So where do you keep them all? You must have quite some space for all these cars. And how many have you got in total?
I built up a personal collection of about 35 classic cars, which they date from the 1935s right through to the early 70s. So my real passion is 50s or 60s classic cars, because I find them very usable on modern roads. But I have recently, over the last few years, got a passion for pre-war cars, which I'm very interested in.
So you have a large garage somewhere then?
Well, if you've got a disease like I have, you need an aircraft hangar, because you just fill it. You'd fill it. The more space you got, you just fill it. But I just love rescuing things that people have discarded and putting new life back into them.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just where we've got people like you that do them, because these cars are obviously better when they're back on the road, being driven on the road, instead of stuck in a field or a barn somewhere.
Definitely. I mean, at the restoration show this weekend, there's lots of clubs, and these guys are really passionate about the cars, and there's every make and model represented at the show. And I take my hat off to these guys, because a lot of them are working in small single garages, lock-up garages, with not proper facilities, so they might have to take 5 or 6 years to restore a car. But I have built, over the last 30 years, I've built up a nice fully equipped workshop, and it does make life easier when you got.
Can I just ask you, Mark, do you have a wife?
I have a wife, and she has
very understanding.
She has her favourite cars, because the way to get your wife interested is to restore a little car for her and call it her car, and then she takes it to shows and
drives it.
Yeah, she loves the MGA sports cars, and we've got another one which is fully restored, and she loves to drive that. Yeah. So you need the family on board. Yeah, because it's a way of life. The classic car scene, definitely a way of life.
Well, thank you very much for the information on the cars, Mark. Thank you very much indeed.
Yep, thank you very much for talking to me today and filming the cars, and I like bringing them out to shows like this and letting all the public view them.
Thank you very much. Thank you.